I'd say
they're eating the pets.
One of my dogs, he's about 60 pounds. He'd make a good Thanksgiving dinner, I guess. I'm keeping an eye on him, though. I'm keeping them safe.
Thanks, Joe.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it, Chuck.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
can you believe we're doing this? Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
I'm going to get another excuse for this, Jack Warren.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. By Kurt Realtors, The Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. Flight by Yingling and Fayetteville Auto Park. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Empty set for Green. They bring Has in motion. They're going to try to clear the field. Let Green run it left at the 5. Touchdown, Arkansas. There was a low snap. Green picked it up and just kept on trucking. A 9-yard run for Taylor Green, and Arkansas is up by 9.
How about them Hogs? How about them? Chuck Barrett, the voice of the Razorbacks, on the call, and here he is now. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be with you on Monday. I'm still reeling. Cowboys got throttled yesterday.
Yeah.
Bart's broken hearted. The Bengals just let him down. The referees always for Kansas City, but it was a it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag on Saturday. I think it'd be fair to say that mixed bag football wise over the weekend.
I think we can agree officials are terrible everywhere, and regardless of that call, which was well earned, by the way. That was as obvious a pass interference call as you could have. Going through the back of a wide receiver before the ball gets there is textbook. So thank you, Cincinnati, for us in the Chiefs fandom for making it really easy. The Chiefs kingdom, the Chiefs fandom, you made it real easy.
I don't think anything was easy about that game, though, for the Chiefs.
Hey, they won the game.
They did. They did.
It's the NFL. It's week to week, Bart. Week to week. Are they firing the coach in Cincinnati?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Is John Harbaugh getting fired?
No.
He's 0-2.
My God, they're 0-2.
Oh, my gosh. The Ravens are done.
Who gets fired first?
The Bengals have been
Harbaugh or
0-2.
Billy Napier? What do you think? Harbaugh?
Harbaugh. It's the NFL. It's a big business, Chuck. It's a real league.
Did you see the Giants coach? That reporter asked him about job security, and he went on to the next question. And while the other guy was asking the question, he turned back to the guy that asked it originally and just stared him down, man. He just burned a hole through him. But, yeah, it's just hey, it's September. All you got to do is lose a couple of games and coach hunting season.
Everybody wants to fire the coach.
Who's got it worse?
Tail numbers and all that stuff.
Who's got it worse than Billy Napier, though?
That's a bad situation down there.
That's
a bad situation down there. Napier. They got the money to buy him out, and nobody seems to like him right now.
Apparently, they've already raised the money.
Well, that's what they said. You can always raise the money when you don't like the coach. You can always raise the money.
Are you fascinated, like I am, by the ability to go raise money to fire coaches and the amount of money that's raised in a short amount of time, how quickly they can do it? By the way, like this is a broader topic. The money that's in college football, like when they hired Jimbo Fisher at A&M, then they fired him for all that money, and the ability to make just ridiculous choices with large amounts of money. It's just like what does it take to be that? Like how do we become that? How do we become just no issues at all with just like 10, 15, $20 million. Meanwhile, we're all talking about like, oh my gosh, I got to raise $20 million to pay all the players. But like in a moment's notice, if you need $20 million because you think your football coach stinks, you can just go get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you can always find it. You can always find it.
Hang on a second. Let me call this guy. We need $20 million to get rid of this really bad coach we hired.
I just think he's being swallowed up down there. Napier's just being swallowed up.
He's 12-16 at Florida, including 12 losses in his past 15 games against power conference opponents.
I think, you look at Napier in the past, he had a lot of success. And I thought they would be more successful than they've been. But now I think they got a lot of issues down there that go beyond just Billy
Oh.
Napier. They got a lot of issues down there.
Ongoing issues. $26 million is his buyout,
Wow.
and they paid Dan Mullen $12 million to get rid of him. So,
So
that'd be like $28 million over.
I wonder
3
what
years.
I'm going to guess whatever Mullen makes for ESPN, they don't have to pay
When do
at
players?
Florida.
When do players start getting fired? Like when they start getting paid. When can you buy players out if they're getting paid?
buy out their contract
Just
in the
buy-
middle of the season.
yeah, you're out.
I have
You're
no
fired.
idea. But so what'd you think about the Razorbacks? Let's
Oh.
just start right there.
I-
Let's just start right there
I'll-
as we begin. 877-377-6963.
I'll be real honest with you, Chuck. I think they're a 10-2 team.
Do you really? I see, here's the thing.
People are they're just so ready to pounce.
I think they're we talked about how you got to find out about your team in the first 3 ball games. You got to find out what they can do, you got to find out what they can't do. There were points Saturday night where they were not throwing and catching the way you want to throw and catch. The good news there is they're running the football well. And I think that may be what they have to hang their hat on for a little bit. I don't think defenses are going to stack the box against Arkansas. I don't think that's going to happen. So there's still a lot of work to do. Clearly, they're going to have to be better than they've been when they play Auburn. But they did win the game. And you look around college football, and there were a lot of teams out there that probably wished they'd been more dominant in their game as well. Some of those spreads weren't quite what they were predicted to be. So not a stellar performance, not anything you write home about, but you did win the game, and you try to correct where you screwed up. And, Auburn's got issues too. So I think the next 2 games are winnable games still.
That sounds like a very reasonable, logical,
Yeah.
well thought out
It's really
opinion on what
I
happened.
I
in the
understand
game.
that's out of the norm.
That
I
is-
understand
that
that's
is-
out of the norm.
That is. Let me give you the other side of that.
All right.
This,
You just
What
said
I
they were going to go 10-2, so you're all over the road.
well, I mean, I'm like a defense attorney here. I can argue either side.
Yeah.
I see a team that's going to struggle to win 6 games.
Do you?
I see a team that can win 10 games and struggle to win 6. Look, they have deficiencies.
I don't know if they're going to win 10 games, but I could see a team that, if you say I could see them winning 8 or I could see them winning 5. I wouldn't necessarily go to the mat disagreeing with you.
I'm just
there.
trying to be really confusing
Yeah, you
because
are.
I want people to really think.
Yeah.
Like, so what did you see and what does it mean? That's what we get every week. But again, it's sort of a little bit of a moving target for some people. Like if you go back and recap what's happened here, you have a UAPB game that you go 10 for 10 on offense, dominate the game, and the opponent's terrible. You have an Oklahoma State game that you go play really well, and you're a 10-point underdog, and you let them off the hook, and you feel like you should have won the game, and we're having all these discussions about not winning close games. Well, guess what? They won a close game on Saturday. Does that count?
Well, it's in people's minds it wasn't supposed to be close, and so that's
exactly
that's why it doesn't work.
So it doesn't. That one doesn't count because they
It doesn't
found a
compute.
way to win. Well, I guess if you want to look at a positive, which I've found that a lot of people don't necessarily want to do that, and I get why. But if you do want to find a positive, they did figure out a way to come back, win the game on a day where they were not playing particularly well, really anywhere. They ran the ball well, and I think they'll be able to continue to run the ball well. And Taylon Green extended a bunch of plays, which helped Arkansas win the game. But like if you're looking at this team and you're trying to evaluate where they are, you walk away unimpressed. The other thing is UAB played horribly against Louisiana Monroe, and so you factor that in. But I think you saw a completely different UAB team. I don't know what UAB is going to go on and do this season, but that wasn't the same team that showed up and played the week before against ULM, just like Georgia and Kentucky weren't the same teams that they were the week before.
Dilfer said something after the game. He said a college team can improve a lot during the course of a week. Now, the flip side to that is you can regress a lot during the course of a week. But UAB obviously got a lot better during the week. I thought they had a great game plan. He said after the game, he said, we wanted to get into short yardage. He said, we thought we could run well enough to get the first down. I mean, they didn't run the ball. They weren't getting to the second level. Arkansas is still, I think, third in the league in rush defense. It's not like they were, getting chunk plays on the ground. But when it was 3rd and 2, they got 3. And that was enough. And they kept the chains moving. And they did that early on. And the Razorbacks helped them. When I look at Arkansas right now, just to be perfectly honest, I see a team that's a really good, or I think a really good run blocking team. So pass blocking team. Got to improve on that. You talked about Taylon Green keeping plays alive. Green rushed for 91 yards. One of the things in college football is that when you take a sack, it goes against the quarterback's rushing yardage. Whereas in the pros, it just goes against the team passing stats. So in college, you take away the overall rushing yardage, but you take away rushing yardage from the quarterback too. You throw those sacks out, he rushes for over 100 yards, and his total offense is up somewhere in the neighborhood of 275, 300 yards. So they're still moving the ball. They still scored 37 points. It is not stylish right now. And I think, frankly, they found out some of the, or maybe a lot of the things that Taylon Green can't do, as much as they found out what he can do. But that's important too. And fortunately, you've been able to do that in 3 games that have not been SEC games. And then on the flip side of the ball, Arkansas is very good against the run right now defensively. They're not real good against the pass right now because they've not gotten much of a pass rush. Every time that quarterback for UAB went back to throw, my thought was, if we get some pressure on him, he's going to throw a pick. His numbers ended up being pretty good, but it's because he didn't face enough pressure in my mind. And I'm not taking anything away from the way he played, but that Auburn quarterback that threw 4 picks the couple of Saturdays ago and ended up getting benched.
And Venmo requests.
Yeah, and then they had another guy that had good numbers this past Saturday against New Mexico. I guarantee you pressure's got most everything to do with that. The picks the one guy threw and the great game the other guy had. I just don't think right now Arkansas is a great pass blocking team, but that is something that is going to come. I hope it needs to come. But again, the good part is they can run block.
Yeah, 2 things before we take a call.
All right.
I think Arkansas is still figuring it out a little bit. I think they're still figuring it out, and I think the possibility of having a letdown after a team or a loss like you had at Oklahoma State is very real. In fact, early in the game, I was like, man, they're letting Oklahoma State beat them twice. How do you recover from that game and then get excited about a UAB team coming in? How do you get players to do that? I mean, were the fans excited about the game, about UAB, the opponent? I just think it's
I thought it was a good crowd. They didn't have anything to cheer about. They didn't have anything to cheer about.
Great crowd. No, I'm saying just during the week, were you like, oh man, I can't wait for this. This is going to be a big game. And I think some of that happens with players from time to time too. But obviously, they got to play better in weeks to come, or they're not going to be a bowl team. Ryan's in Hot Springs. Hey, Ryan. Good morning.
Hey guys.
Hey, Ryan.
I've been seeing a lot of these immediate beat writers and stuff that are just all like, well, this has only been a trend. I don't like it's only been a trend since 2022, but I went back as far as 2006 after the game. It just seems like every year there's some opponent that comes in. Even our best teams have struggled with some of these group of 5 teams. I mean, I kind of would be interested to go back in time and see what if we had Twitter now like we did in 2011. When we let Troy come in and play within 10 of us, and that team finished top 5 in the country and had a chance at being a 3-way tie with LSU and Alabama. Now, obviously, I'm not predicting that's going to happen this year. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to give, an example of how we played down to an opponent and still had a good season. Obviously, they were a little further along with some of the people they had on their team, but the point is they won the game and they can move. They can figure some things out and get better. But I do think this is a little overblown. I think I agree with you, Bo. As soon as the game started, it just, to me, I had a very, very flat feeling. I didn't, I was worried about it. And like you say, worried about being beat twice. I was really concerned about it, but they pulled it out. And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I'll hang up and listen. I hope you'll have a great day and go home.
All right, Ryan. Thank you.
Let's take more calls. 877-377-6963. We'll get to your text as well. It's a reaction Monday. Arkansas wins by 10. Nobody really felt great about it other than it is in the win column. It is a Monday morning, and we're reacting to Arkansas's 10-point victory.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. I made some good calls today. You sure did. You sure did.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
The tailgating scene on a perfect fall day in the natural state. Calling the Hogs with 75,000 plus as the Razorbacks run through the A. And all the things you love about football game days are near. Football season tickets are now on sale for marquee matchups against Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and longtime rival and new SEC foe, Texas.
Slant, caught, touchdown, Arkansas.
Experience game day on the hill and secure your seat and tailgating space by visiting ArkansasRazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you on every step of the way. Whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
What's your Oaklawn? Is it hitting the slots for fun and high fives? Or having a round at Silk's Bar and Grill before the action? Play your way at Oaklawn's 24/7 non-smoking casino. With 1,500 slot machines, live roulette, craps, and blackjack, a sports book where you can watch and wager on your favorite games and live entertainment at Pop's Lounge, you'll never run out of fun. It's time for more winning and more excitement at Oaklawn. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Taylor Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert. And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets? Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys? Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Did your 6 weeks with your kids this summer fly by? Is your ex on another tropical vacation while you're working 2 jobs to pay your child support? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Arkansas law on custody and child support has changed, and those changes could benefit you. So stop scrolling through her vacation pictures and protect your rights today. Call me at 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Your Honor, my son deserves this kid.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Back to Save Sports Radio.
877-377-6963 if you want to get in here on a Reaction Monday. We got a text from Dave and Branson. What is surprising? What is surprising, Bo, Chuck? This is Arkansas football. This is who we are and have always been. Loving the Heartbreak Hogs is part of our DNA. It's a lot like self-sabotage. We know what we can do and figure out a way to not get it done. At least we're not saying holy Toledo.
They didn't lose. I mean, Arkansas did not lose the game.
They did to Toledo back in the day.
I understand.
And Toledo boat raced.
Yes, they did.
Mississippi State.
They beat them
in Starkville.
They did. It was a rout. I think they were probably leaving early down there at the stadium in Starkville.
I can hear the cowbells now. Like at the mere mention of it. Do they just go away when they're losing like that to a team that's not even a power conference team? Or do they keep ringing them incessantly throughout the game?
Oh, I've seen them leave early down there before. They don't ring them on the way out. They they just go and they just leave. And I'm sure they did on Saturday night. But yeah, here's the thing. I know
Heartbreak Hogs.
Well,
Hogs.
that's where I was going to go. I know they didn't dominate the way everybody wanted them to. And some of the people who were mad this morning are most mad because they didn't cover. If you want to get right down to it. So I'm not saying that's the case with Dave. I'm just saying I know a few people who that is the case for. And I know you wanted to see your team dominate these guys. And I know it was kind of embarrassing if you were a Razorback fan, sitting around fans from other schools, and gosh, UAB's up 17-3, and you're trying to defend yourself. And I get all that. But I think Heartbreak Hogs after a 10-point wins maybe a little bit too far.
Well, nobody's really happy with the game.
Fair enough. That's completely fair.
I mean, listen to the players aren't really happy.
When you go slow in practice, it's going to lead to a slow game. Not a good game at all, to be honest. Any team in the SEC is going to beat the hell out of us if we play like that. So we need to find a way to clean up those mistakes and play a lot more physical. We didn't play our brand of football today, and we came out with the win, so that's always good. But at the same time, we got a lot to clean up.
That's Landon Jackson, who played well, and I think actually may have tipped the ball.
He did.
That led to the interception that sealed the game.
He did. Got I think just a fingertip on it before Metcalf intercepted the pass. Arkansas is going to have to get more pressure on the quarterback. What I don't know, and what we may not find out until Saturday or maybe even the Saturday beyond that is how much are they going to blitz? What have they shown in terms of their defensive package? How much have they done certain things that perhaps they plan to do when they move into conference play? I don't know the answers to any of those questions. I do know that right now they're not putting any pressure on the quarterback, and until they do, the SEC quarterbacks are going to complete passes against you.
Also, I'm concerned about, really up front on both sides of the ball is where the game is played in the SEC. And that's played everywhere that way. But in this league, like if you're not good there, you're going to get exposed. And there's still a lot to be answered from both the offensive and defensive lines. We haven't seen them through 3 games be able to get pressure with your 4-down linemen. And when that happens, you've got issues. And I don't know that Arkansas in the secondary is good enough to not be able to get pressure with 4.
Well, that's why I say I don't know exactly what we've seen in terms of what they may do to try to get pressure on the quarterback from beyond those 4. Those are things we're going to have to see as we move through the next couple of weeks. And I don't know that what you're saying won't become a pattern. I don't know, but clearly you've got to be able to you got to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Hogs versus Hogs, greatest rivalry ever.
I saw that. Yeah.
It is interesting. Like I guess I continue to go back to the mentality of waiting for something bad to happen. And when it doesn't look good, it's like, see, I told you so.
Well, there's no question.
Well, but why? Well, what
because what
that
we want to be more than anything is viewed by all our friends as the smartest fan in the room. That's what every fan wants. You want to be the one that makes the point that well, I remember Bo said 3 weeks ago, or I remember Bart or Chuck or everybody wants to be the guy that's the smartest fan in the room. They see things coming around the corner that nobody else sees.
I guess we sit here today yet again going, wait until next week. We'll know more then. Or do we have any takeaways from the game that indicate anything about the season? Do you take anything away from the game that indicates anything about the rest of the year?
You were talking about, the numbers a minute ago and pressure and things like that. I'm not saying this is a well-oiled machine on offense just yet, but I would be a lot more concerned if they couldn't run the ball. Arkansas is averaging 7 yards per carry right now, running the foot, or they average 7 yards per carry on Saturday night, I should say. If they were one of these teams that could not run the ball, like it's 3rd and a yard and a half, everybody in the building knows you're going to throw because you can't run. That's a team that's going to lose a lot of games. If it was a situation where they were having to throw 40 times just to move the ball, I'd be really, really worried. And on the other side of the ball, if they weren't 3rd in the league in rushing defense, I'd be really, really worried if the other side was gashing them. And if that happens Saturday, they'll get beat. But I'd be a lot more concerned if they were giving up 7 or 8 yards of rush, but had 6 sacks. I'd be more concerned about that because here's the deal. You give up 6, 7 yards of rush, you're not going to be in a position to get very many sacks because they're just going to run right down the field on you. So there are deficiencies. There's no doubt about that. There are deficiencies. But I think the areas where they're solid, I think that gives them a chance to move the ball. They did score 37 points. I don't think there's ever going to be a day when a defense stacks the line against a Bobby Petrino offense. I don't think there's ever going to be a day. They're always going to respect Arkansas's ability to throw down the field. Green throws the ball well enough down the field to keep defenses honest. So that's what I take away from it. But now I'm not blind either. I know you're going to have to play better in a lot of areas to win.
We're just breaking it down here on a Monday morning, 877-377-6963. Reacting to Arkansas's win over UAB. Does it mean anything really for the season? It's a win. It's 2 wins towards 6. If you're trying to get to a bowl game, it's 2 wins toward. What happens if you don't win that game? Then what are we talking about? 877-377-6963. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank. Bank better. Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric, locally owned and operated. The Fayetteville Auto Park, Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop. And Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, as well as Weichert Realty. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands, Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Park.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I want to make a couple of points here because I have the floor.
All of it. The Chuck and Bo Show.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Ty Richardson for the #1 liquor store in the River Valley, Eastside Liquor. It's football season and the Hogs are back, baby. Plus your favorite NFL team. If you need beers for the boys, seltzers for the ladies, or brown water for the big-time wins, Dave and his entire team at Eastside Liquor can take care of you today. 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Convenient drive-through and always have what you're looking for. Plus a new bigger and better location is on the way. The game's always better after stopping by Eastside.
Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center's Battle of the Golden Bottle continues into September. For the month of September, Danielle Emery, Allstate and Summit Insurance Advisors, will be battling for the Golden Bottle. Whoever collects more diapers, baby wipes, formula, and cash for Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center will win the Golden Bottle. Be sure to stop in at one of these locations to help families here in the River Valley and to help your team win the Golden Bottle. Follow Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on Facebook for all your battle updates. Every penny counts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
People wonder all the time, where do I get my suits for all the weddings I go to? Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental. Rainwater's has dressed me from head to toe. So if you're renting or buying, your #1 men's clothing shop is Rainwater's. Experience the Rainwater's difference for yourself at 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith or online at rainwater-s.com. When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you. Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
I am fine. I did not have a stroke going to break, even though it sounded like I was stroking out live.
People think that,
which would have been great for the show. I know. But
something about a broadcaster getting tongue-tied. It just doesn't, Hey, 877-377-6963 is the number that'll get you into the program. Patrick is waiting in Stuttgart. Patrick, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, so y'all remember after the Oklahoma State game, Sam kind of lamented the fact that they didn't get much adversity in that first game against UAPB. Well, we got some adversity now, Sam. So I hope he's got what he needs to get the team focused and bring their A game down to Auburn and go Hogs.
Hey, appreciate the call. You know, I was excited for the special teams to get more work be able to kick long field goals and kind of wondered going into the game. I really thought Arkansas offensively would just run up and down the field.
I did too.
Against UAB.
I did too, based on what had happened the week before.
But Ramsey's got it in him now to kick a 51-yard field goal. I'm not saying you're confident in your kicking game. I'm just saying what's in there.
Well, he's got the ability to do it. There's no doubt about that. Look, when I look at that, really, to me, it's kind of a microcosm of the whole team. I just think it's very much a work in progress. They brought all these new guys in. You got a new quarterback. You got a new coordinator. You got new everything, or at least new everywhere. And the idea that you're going to be a midseason product after 3 games, one of which was against,
that's what led to you thinking that was going to be like that.
And
because it's hard to execute on air like that.
Right. Well, no, you're right. And so I do think it's going to be a work in progress. I don't, I see areas on the offense right now where, anyone can see that they've got to get better, and anyone can see that there are some things on the other side of the ball that need improvement. And yes, man, you got to have a kicker you can rely on if you're going to be a good team. There's no doubt. So it was encouraging to see him make that field goal. Yes.
They're going to have somebody catch it besides Andrew Armstrong as well.
Yeah. I mean, Green's got 11 completions and 8 of them are to one guy. That's the one thing that jumped out to me when I looked at the stats after the game. And I talked about their quarterback. How every time he dropped back, I thought we ought to be picking the ball off. He hits 9 different receivers. I mean, Green hits 3, and one of them got 8 of the 11. So, clearly there's going to have to be you got to spread the ball around a little better than that.
Jimmy and Conway, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Top of the morning to you, fellas.
Hello, Jimmy.
I got a couple things I want you to analyze and look at next week for sure. I'm seeing some things defensively that scare the crap out of me, and that is when the opponent receiver catches the ball, instead of going and tackling the receiver, they want to try to strip the ball from them. And the receiver's still pedaling downfield as they're trying to strip it. That drives me crazy. Hit the man and bring him down. And we're still not getting pressure on the quarterback. I'm really disappointed in that. I thought we would be a lot better. And I don't know what's going on there, but, it just seems like we can't get to the quarterback. And your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah,
have a great week.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, on the defensive side, I mean, that's a consistent problem across the board with a lot of teams. But Arkansas is not tackling particularly well. And it is something that people harp on, rightfully so, because coaches do want you to strip the ball out, but you got to make the tackle first. And missed tackles have plagued this team really the entire season so far. And look, there's a lot of things to clean up. We've been talking about pass rush, Chuck. I mean, that they've got to figure out something there. I think they will, but they haven't shown it yet.
I want to read a text here, and I think this goes to the heart of the matter for some people, anyways. Is who am I reading this from? Brian on the Hill. Arkansas fans saw a flat football team every game in Fayetteville last year. Seeing it again in game 1 this year, which for, in terms of the home crowd, it is game 1, led to a low-level PTSD flashback. And here's the deal. I mean, Bart, I know you were reading a text over there a minute ago or an email or what. I do think that how you play at home matters. I mean, it was the headline of the paper Saturday going into the game was, wanting to play better at home before your home fans, and then it didn't really happen.
It's interesting. I did hear fans on some of the post-game shows saying, like, how could you not show up and put on a better performance for your fans for the one game in Fayetteville out of the first 5 or whatever?
Right.
Well, it's not like they didn't want to show up and play well in front of the fans in Fayetteville. Do you make anything of what Pittman said after the game about some guys missing practice, some guys being beat up? He was worried about defensively. The defensive coordinator, his wife had a baby this week. He missed Tuesday's practice. I mean, that may sound like a bunch of excuses, but those things are actually, they do impact you a little bit.
Here's one of the things that happened early in the game, and they knew going into the game that their center, Addison Nichols, had a high ankle sprain. They knew going in that there was probably going to be a point in the game where he couldn't go anymore. I don't know that they planned on it being as early as it was. And Amari Wiggins ends up playing, 2/3 of the game practically. Maybe three quarters of the game.
I'm writing that down as another positive, by the way, on the list of the positive side.
But
backup work for the center.
On the other side, Braxton doesn't play, and that changes things too. Hudson Clark doesn't play, and I know Hudson Clark. Somebody's going to be, they bring in somebody to beat him out every year, and then they can't. And part of it is because there's not going to be much that goes on back there that he's not seen or hasn't prepared for. He's not necessarily the fastest defensive back in the SEC, but he's got a pretty good idea what's coming.
Heath and Cabot. Heath, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Heath.
Well, a win's a win. I mean,
you sound so excited about it.
Say it like you mean it.
A win's a win's a win.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Listen, it looks like, UAB might have played a little physical. That was a really hard physical game that Oklahoma State gave them. Guys, it's about to get real physical. Entering SEC play, Auburn's going to play physical. A&M's going to play physical. I don't know if you watched those guys this weekend, but looks like Auburn's got a few things figured out. Now, they got some problems, but it looks like they're getting it figured out on the offensive side. And I got to tell you, that quarterback for A&M, that guy looks like the real deal. I don't know how long he's been on the bench, but he put on a show this past weekend. So I don't know. You're right, Chuck. There's a lot of things that Arkansas has got to clean up and figure out. But it's just kind of hard for me to believe they're going to get it figured out on the road at Auburn and then playing in Arlington. So I don't know. I mean, right now this looks to me like a 5-win team, potentially get to a bowl win. Bowl game, 6 wins, but I don't know, gentlemen. It's about to get hard. It's going to be a lot more physical. They already look a little banged up, so I don't know. I mean, it's not very optimistic on after this weekend.
So bowl game or not after this weekend? Every week we've got to do this. We got to reevaluate. Where are you?
I don't see it right now.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't. I mean,
but how do you feel coming out of the Oklahoma State game? Same or different? Like, did this make you go down?
Borderline. I mean, there was a little self-doubt. I mean, it's like the PTSD. Like they were up in the first half, and you're like, oh, great, and then you just knew at halftime they were going to lose that game. Like it just old feelings came back up, and it just the way they lost it. So
you know what we need, Chuck? We need, thanks, Heath. We need therapy. We need Razorback fan therapy.
We know it's coming.
You know what? What day of the week do y'all want to do that? We're gonna bring somebody on and we're gonna have therapy. 877, I mean for real, 377-6963. We got all these past buried emotions that are they're coming back up. Like there's no way.
You're gonna have to deal with 2006 and 2007 at some point. At some point, you're gonna have to come to grips with all that.
You gotta name it, you gotta let it out, we gotta put it out here, and we gotta deal with it. It's 6:46 on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And I want someone to slide into my DMs. It's just
I'm
a
not sure
personal
I'm
goal.
entirely comfortable with this.
It sounds appealing to me.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there can also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Razorback fans, it's Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmer. And it's a great time to be a Razorback. Embrace the home! Whether it's a touchdown, a slam dunk, or a grand slam.
Big Sully, they were doing all the stuff. I went in there to get something to eat, and they're cheering. I'm like, what is going on here?
We're here with the excitement and insight you crave.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps now, you know.
It's the Razorback Daily from the team at Sport and Store.
That might be our best episode ever.
Available wherever you listen to your podcast each morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
Folks, here we are at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway. Grant, Neal, it's truck season at Road Chevrolet. You got 1.9% for well-qualified buyers on the 2024 Silverado 1500.
Absolutely. So we've got continuing great rebates coming out with great financing offers from GM Financial. You can get up to $7,000 off of a new Silverado right now with that 1.9% financing available on certain models and a deferral for 90 days on payment. So 3 months without having to make a payment is pretty nice going into the holiday season.
And the great thing about that, it's in addition to the 1.9%. It's not or, it's plus.
Yeah, we're glad to see that the manufacturer and GM Financial stepping up and really getting the great deals. September is the beginning of cooler season of the holidays. It's football season, and we're excited to have the excitement in the air.
So do a little tailgating this football season on the back of your new Silverado from Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
By the way, if you did not notice yesterday, the Auburn game will kick at 2:30 on Saturday on ESPN. I guess we could find out today. We might what time the A&M game is going to kick off, but we might not find out till next weekend too.
Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas, a 3.5 point underdog.
Yeah, I saw that. Eddie is in Clarksville. Eddie, what's on your mind this morning?
Well, my phone call's a little bit more subdued this morning. It was a rough weekend for the Hog Man in Clarksville, Arkansas. My Cowboys, listen, you keep writing the same book. We talk about Elvis Costello. You write a book every day. Even in your own personal lives, you write a book on how you conduct yourself and what you do. That's what you're judged by. And, you take this game. Yes, we won the game. I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But I'll say this. If you bring this play script that you wrote Saturday in Hogtown to the Plains, well, let me tell you something. They will beat the brakes off you. Let me say this. I watched the pig trail last night, Alyssa. If this is true, I don't know. But Alyssa Orange says, when you talk about a quarterback, Taylor Green, the plays. If Bobby Petrino calls a play and you have your own agenda, set his butt on the bench. Listen to this. You see what Auburn did? Did you see what Texas A&M did? If the quarterback is not performing, set him on the bench and put somebody in there. This was a game I was disappointed in because we got nobody, no ref. We got no. I didn't see one play where you didn't bring in Singleton or Jackson. And what if he gets hurt? What are you going to do? No reps at all. This is about winning a program. And he's an employee of the University of Arkansas. In fact, all our players are employees of the University of Arkansas. And so being as an employee, if you're not performing, shut your butt on the bench. Thank you for taking my call.
Good God, Eddie.
What are you talking about? If Taylor Green's not running around in the backfield and extending plays, they might not win this game. In fact, I don't think they win the game without Taylor Green. I don't think they win the game with another quarterback player.
Oh, I'm sure you're probably right about that.
You bench Taylor Green. By the way, HR at the University of Arkansas is on line 3. They want to talk about the employees.
See, he lost me there. I didn't know exactly what he was saying.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think they're employees yet. Wes in Huntsville, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Wes.
Man, I've been listening all morning long, and I really wish I would have called sooner. That we didn't have to follow that up. But so here's my hot take. I understand fans being upset with how the game turned out. At the same time, I don't want to use the cliche, a win is a win, but it was almost as if like we had to beg the fans to even get into the game. And there's moments where it's third down and the stadium wasn't loud. And I get it because people are going back to the thought of, well, we're out of this game and we're going to lose it. And so that's my first take is, man, we, as a fan, like we have a responsibility to cheer and to get into it. The second take is, if we find ourselves saying after a win that we need to hint at getting rid of our coach, which is what the radio show was saying after the game, I don't know. It just seems like our we're so narrow-sighted. Like we're not thinking longevity in mind, and we think 5 years is a long time. But right now, you look at the history of what's going on in football, and if a coach is replaced, like the next few years, very rarely do you have situations where it's a successful program again. And so I would much rather see Sam Pittman continue to be our head coach, and we have some longevity in mind instead of us just thinking like it's a microwave culture.
Thanks, Wes. Good. Appreciate your thoughts. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Chuck and Bo.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes.
I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
We want to make sure that you can read some ludicrous lyrics on his 47th birthday
I can
today.
do that one. Roll out, roll out.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly cloudy sky, a 50-50 chance of seeing some showers. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 70s. Later on tonight, we should see a partly cloudy sky, overnight low in the low to mid 60s. Returning to sunshine tomorrow, high temperatures mid 80s, and then for Wednesday, lots of sunshine, a high upper 80s to near 90. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Over 11,000 off on remaining 2023 GMC Sierras, or up to 7,000 off on remaining GMC Yukon XLs at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. These are the largest factory discounts in years, so hurry before they're gone. Plus up to 6,500 off on in-stock 2024 GMC Sierras. Conquer the road with confidence in a GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
You sound like a participation trophy, Dad.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home, quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're at the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet. No, Mom, he's referring to football season. Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes? Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white. We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner. Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baum Walker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shoponrazorback.com. Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Go Hogs!
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
How are your pets, Joe? Your pets safe?
They're eating the pets. One of my dogs, he's about 60 pounds. He'd make a good Thanksgiving dinner, I guess. I'm keeping an eye on them, though. I'm keeping them safe.
Thanks, Joe.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Can you believe we're doing this? Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Like another excuse for this jackwater.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. Why Kurt Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. Flight by Yingling and Fayetteville Auto Park. And now, Chuck and Bo.
You know, after all that conversation about the pets and the dogs and the cats and eating them and Arkansas right on time runs a frisbee catching dog
Oh,
during the game.
let me just say
four
this.
different times.
Let me just say this about the guy throwing the frisbee too. I mean,
He got better as the game went on.
yeah,
He
but
was
that-
out throwing the dog.
Oh, he
for a
was. It's like, quit showing off, man. The dog's the show, not your arm. I mean, it's this guy. The whole routine, every routine, he was like, "Let me show you how far I can throw a frisbee." It's like, dude, people aren't there to watch you. He's over there raising his arms up like he's the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
it's
you're
like-
running this dog to death. I mean, people are cussing you right now. We were cussing him in the booth.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, get it together. It's terrible.
He got better as
He
the
was
game went on.
He was terrible. He made Taylor Green look like I mean, he made those two quarterbacks look great. He was the worst passer of the weekend. He can hate me if he wants. I don't care. I pull for the dog. I pull for the dog. I thought that guy was bad for the
dead.
dog.
I am so dead. I thought the atmosphere at that moment was great. You know, we had a call.
I'm going to get fired for saying that, but the entire deal, I'm thinking, stop showing off your arm. It's about the dog.
Are you going to rip Red Panda at some point this year too?
I will not stand for that.
I'm done.
I will
I'm done.
not stand
I'm not going
for
to say
any
anything
Red
else.
Panda slander.
I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just saying it's about the dog.
3 weeks into the show, we finally got Chuck's hot button issue.
Oh, that guy was
the guy
horrible.
showing up the
It
dog.
was terrible. It was terrible.
Everybody in the stadium knows it was terrible.
Everybody around me
And
was
it was
like,
his
this guy
fault.
sucks.
Hey, forget the game, man.
Hey, man.
Forget the game.
I thought the guy worked really hard. I thought he got better. He improved as the game went on. Got a little air under the frisbee.
Everybody around me was like, that poor dog.
I got to say this.
Yeah, he was running the dog to death. He was showing off his arm. That's all he was doing.
The crowd went wild with every catch the dog made.
That should have given him an
crowd-
indication the dog was the show, not you, not your show off arm. Brad's in Fayetteville.
Hey,
Let's go
Brad.
back to work. Brad, you're on the Chuck and Bo show.
The dog is
Hey,
the
Chuck.
show.
This question for you. Where was Luke Haas at on Saturday? Like, he was like non-existent. And then how bad is Jalen Braxton hurt?
Well, let me say this about Luke Haas. I want to see him catch the ball as much as anybody. That guy's huge in the run game. That guy's blocking his butt off.
I think that Braxton will probably play this week, based on what it sounded like. He's got a better chance maybe to play than Hudson Clark. Hudson Clark's still dealing with that blow he took last week. But it sounds like Braxton may play.
We were talking about Andrew Armstrong, catching all the balls, and it's got to be spread around. It will. They'll get there. I think right now they're still figuring some things out. I'll be shocked if Luke Haas doesn't have more targets in the near future. Brent and Cersei, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and Bo, how we doing this morning?
Good morning. Great.
My question is, how do we get our team to be focused? Because Saturday they came out, they were lethargic. We were down 17-3. What do we have to do? Are we going to see a team that plays good every other week? I mean, is this the days of NIL? We decide, we don't feel like playing today. We didn't pay any attention to our coaches during the meetings, and now we're in a dogfight.
Well, Brent, you've been around football a long time. How many teams have you ever seen that are up every week?
Well, we've got to be up every week to have a chance to win.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not possible.
And with Taylor Greener, we're going to have every other week. I can throw the ball. I can't. I mean, that's a legitimate question.
I think the questions about consistency are legitimate. I think there's got to be, and I think everyone would agree with this, that you've got to develop some consistency and all, whether it's your passing game, whatever. I mean, yes, that's a valid point.
Are we is Addison Nichols going to be able to play this week?
Well, it's Monday, so it's hard to know now. But I mean, he obviously left the game and couldn't come back Saturday. So I would, it sounds like it's going to be a week-long deal trying to get him ready.
What was the injury, Chuck?
He's got a high ankle sprain right now.
That's the worst injury for an offensive lineman. That's like a blowout on an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
But, all right. Thank y'all.
Those generally take some time. Has anybody checked on the dog, by the way?
I'm not going back there. Maybe I overreacted a little bit, but I like dogs. I like dogs. I was pulling for the dog.
They're eating the dog.
Oh, that was right on time. I couldn't believe that was actually happening. I'm like, right out of the week that we just had with the dogs and the cats and the pets and all that, like we're running a dog out here, a Frisbee catching dog. 877-377-6963. So what is it you really want? Look, everybody can see Arkansas didn't play very well, and they figured out a way to win. They played pretty well at Oklahoma State and figured out a way to lose. We are still all evaluating what this team really is and isn't. Maybe people are disappointed because they feel like the UAB game did expose some things and remove all doubt. If you had a little bit of doubt about where this team is, and now you're thinking, well, it removes all doubt, they're not that good.
I think there's a large portion of our fan base that thought with Bobby Petrino being hired as the offensive coordinator that it would be immediately like the days of Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson and Jarius Wright and Greg Childs and Chris Gregg and all the other guys.
Ronnie Wingo, wheel route.
All the other guys that played back then. I do think there's a large portion of our fan base. And look, I think Bobby Petrino's great too. But I think a lot of people feel like he just waves the magic wand and all of a sudden this is going to be a prolific offense like it was back then. Guys, I got news for you. I don't think we understood just how good Ryan Mallett was. And I don't think we understood just how good Tyler Wilson was. I can remember asking Petrino one time, how many times does Mallett make a throw that just makes you, as an offensive guru, say, wow? And he said, every day. He does it every day. I don't think we have a great appreciation for how good those players were. I'm not taking anything away from Petrino, but my point is I think there are a lot of our fans right now that thought it would immediately be a high gear offense. And when it's not, they're wondering who's getting in the way, who's getting in his way. And the reality is right now, they're 3 games into this. They're still finding out about their quarterback. They're still finding out about a lot of things offensively. And I would suspect that, I hate to use the term play calling, but I'm sure that what they call will reflect what they do well as we move forward. And I would think that would be Saturday at Auburn.
I'm a Bobby Petrino fan. It's a great example, the feelings of this state for Bobby Petrino, of how you go into something thinking in a bias, right? Like whatever your bias is, no matter what Petrino does, like we don't know what goes on down there, but it is interesting that no matter what happens on offense, it's not his fault. And whatever happens poorly to the team is Sam Pittman's fault. And I'm not saying anything is Petrino's fault. I'm just saying you're right. People want that. They feel like it's going to happen. And Eddie wants to bench Taylor Green. Like, what? Taylor Green is going to get all the praise and attention and criticism because he's the quarterback. But, man, you don't win that game without Taylor Green. And they got some things to figure out. But when I watch Taylor Green play, I'm like, there's a lot of upside there. They like I'll take that guy and Bobby Petrino helping him figure it out.
Well, the one thing that I do want to point out again, and I brought this up about an hour ago, is yes, he missed some guys. And I think part of the reason that people are dissatisfied with the passing game this morning is because not only did he miss them, I mean, in some of the cases, he missed them by a wide margin. But now look, he threw for 161 yards. He rushed for 96. You take away in college football, they've got this stupid stat rule where if a quarterback is sacked, it goes against his rushing yardage. He still managed to rush for 96 yards. You adjust the sack numbers there. He's given you 300 yards of total offense by himself. Even with the numbers as they are, it's at 250, 255. You adjust the sack numbers, he's up there at 300. Just to be honest with you, I don't know that the other 2 quarterbacks, or I don't know that even half the quarterbacks in the SEC are consistently going to be able to give you 300 yards of total offense. Some will do it through the air, but they're not going to rush for very much. So, I mean, when you look at his overall game, as frustrating as the misses were, and some of them were bad, but as frustrating as those were, you don't win the game without him. And my guess would be you're not going to win very many games this year, period, without him. When you look at the total offense, his numbers are still winning numbers. I mean, he threw for 2 touchdowns. He ran for another. He accounted for 3 touchdowns and he threw an interception. Those are still better than average numbers.
Pro Football Focus apparently has some stats on the dog. 6 catches, 350 yards.
Okay.
And some inside information. Sources indicate that Bobby Petrino talked to the guy throwing the Frisbee in between outings. And that's why he improved.
Well, the guy can throw the Frisbee up to the 15th floor, but if the receiver's on the 10th, it doesn't really matter. And that's what was happening.
I think Petrino had a talk with him. Okay. And then completion percentage went up late in the game. Also, from Brian in Fayetteville, reports are saying the dog took some IV fluids after the game and is probable for next week.
That sounds about right.
6:15. No, it's 7:15 on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I've been waiting to say this for 5 years. Sterling in Center Ridge.
This is quite the coup that they have put together. Bo and Chuck, this is a dream team.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone. They educate you on every step of the way, whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself. Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson.
Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Rig, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back, plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3. The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo. Love you, Chuck. Been listening to you dang near all my life calling games. Certainly excited about y'all's new show. I've listened every morning.
Chuck and Bo Show brought to you in part by First Security Bank. It's more than just banking at First Security. Sure, they've got all the things you need to bank better, but it's way more than that. They're all in on local support, convenient locations, friendly, local banking. It's how you bank better. Check them out online, fsbank.com. First Security Bank, member FDIC, 877-377-6963. So I asked the question earlier, what is it you want? Like obviously everybody wants to win. You know, what do you want to see happen this year? What is it you wanted in the UAB game? Well, I think what everybody wanted is it's a great question. I'm glad you asked, Bo. What they wanted was to see a dominant victory, right? A dominant victory. But also I started seeing scores during the day throughout the college football Saturday, and it was like, wow, that game's closer than I thought. That game was closer than I thought. And I'm reminded of this, and people think, oh, it's just you're defending. And nobody's defending. Landon Jackson came out and said they're going to get their butts kicked if they play like that in SEC play. Pittman basically said the same thing. I think Pittman at one point may have said he was embarrassed. But
I think it's understood they've got to be.
Yeah, but like it is also true that you come off a game like Oklahoma State that you can have a little bit of a letdown. You really got to guard against that. You got to try to get guys not to let that happen. They go into the week. They got some guys missing on defense. They got a defensive coordinator who has a child, God forbid, right? Okay, can you not push that off to like the bye week? I mean, all these things, these are just things that happen. What you got to do is what Georgia did at Kentucky. You just got to figure out a way to win. And that is the difficult thing and disappointing thing about the game at Oklahoma State. But they did find a way to win. And I also think that they're going to go back and probably get better from the things they didn't do well, but they also have some deficiencies. The question becomes, how bad are the deficiencies, and where is that going to cost you in SEC play? And do you think after watching this game that Arkansas is no longer a bowl team, or did it confirm to you they're not a bowl team? Or do you still feel optimistic about their chance to play in the postseason? Somebody watching on the live stream, which, by the way, you can always listen to the show on the Hit That Line app or hitthatline.com or on YouTube, all the social media channels. You can find it on the Chuck and Bo, at Chuck and Bo on social media. Some people watch on Facebook, which is Chuck's favorite platform.
My only platform.
The Facebook Live
My
platform.
lone platform.
We should turn you loose to the wolves on X at some point.
No, you would be turning the wolves loose on me.
Right,
That's
right.
what you'd be
We'll
doing.
turn you loose to them so they can just get after you.
Devour me.
What is the comment that you were telling us about, Bart?
Yeah, this is from HogFan11. He says, "We don't want to find complaints. We want a better team so we can relax watching our team against freaking UAB. Stop thinking fans are unreasonable. This isn't normal."
Well, for the record, fan stands for fanatic, which makes it hard to be fanatic and reasonable. So fans are not always reasonable, okay? Nobody's telling fans, despite, by the way, this happened to me on X a week ago. I made a comment that if you had Arkansas getting smashed in this game and then they lose in double overtime to the number 16th ranked team in the country, why are you mad? Because you already thought they were going to get smashed. So my point being, like, you should feel better about where your team is. Oh, that's a moral victory. Well, like, when you watched that game, did it not give you some optimism about where they might be able to go? Now, did they erase all that optimism this week? But people take that as me saying, oh, you can't be upset. So now people are asking, is it okay to be mad now? Is it okay? You can be mad anytime you want. I'm just saying, what is it you want? Or I'm asking, what is it you want?
This team was picked 14th in the 16-team SEC.
And that's where they're ranked right now by the Athletic.
14th in the SEC. Now, I said then, and I believe now, they'll finish higher than 14th. But the idea, and I think some people have this expectation, that not only are we going to be better than 14th, but we're not going to stop at 10th place, or we're not going to stop at 8th place. We're going to jump up to 3rd or 4th place. And not only that, we're going to upset number 1 Texas when they come to town in November. That's where I think a lot of people want to be. I don't know that those people aren't going to find themselves really disappointed when it's all said and done. This team's better. I think, as I've said, I think they're better than 14th. But if you were to sit here and say to me right now, is this team going to crack the top 2 or 3 in the league? No. But I'll tell you, when I look at the conference, I see Georgia, I see Texas, I see Tennessee, maybe Ole Miss. Beyond that, I don't think there's a whole lot of separation.
So starting from the bottom, Florida 16th. This according to the Athletic and their college football rankings.
That's an overreaction. Florida's not the worst team in the league.
Mississippi State's 1 spot ahead of them.
They are the worst team in the league.
And Arkansas is 14th.
Where they got Vanderbilt?
Right ahead of Arkansas at 13th.
Who beat Vanderbilt this week?
Georgia State.
Yeah, Georgia
beat
State.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Now, there's another example. So you're the Vanderbilt coach. You're off to this amazing start. You go beat a power conference team on the road, and now you're 2-0 after beating Virginia Tech. You win your next game. Who'd they beat in the second game? I don't remember. I'm not real tight on Vanderbilt's schedule, but I just know what it's got to be like for that coach. Clark Lee's going, all right, guys, we're going to play Georgia State this weekend, and they're thinking they're going to win the game. And Georgia State, it's like a huge game for them. Look, UAB comes off a loss to ULM, okay, just from a coaching perspective. If you're Trent Dilfer, how hard is it to get your guys' attention
after you lose to Louisiana Monroe and you tell them we're going to play the biggest game of the year in an SEC stadium? Is it easier to get their attention or harder? To me, that's like a motivational dream, like for a coach.
Let's go to Bean in Fort Smith. Bean, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Is it Bean or Dean?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Just a quick question. With Taylor Green, I think he might have went 11 for 26.
Yep.
Might have that wrong. But do we think that with his accuracy problems that he had this weekend, we might see Malachi Singleton start, or maybe not even start, but play a little bit this season if we're down in a disastrous situation like what happened against UAB early? Thanks, guys. Love the show.
No, I don't think if they fall behind 17-3 to Louisiana Tech, say somewhere down the road. No, I don't think they're going to pull the quarterback. I mean, everything's subject to change, but no, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just stunned.
That's where we are now, man. That's just how.
I'm just stunned. I don't even know what to say. Charlie and Camden.
You want me to reel you back in, Bo?
Yeah, help me out.
Reel him back
Help
in.
me out.
Reel him back in, man.
Let me be real with fans for a minute. Let me explain something to you guys. The thing is, I was way more disappointed in the way, and I mean this with all sincerity. Look, Taylor missed some throws. We also had some drops in there, so don't put it all on him. Now, there's some mechanical things that he needs to work on. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. Bobby Petrino, I promise you he is going to get this fixed, but it may not happen like as fast as people want. I think we live in a society where it's like, oh my, everything's got to happen right now. No, look, it's going to take some time. He's going to keep getting better. There's a reason that Bobby brought this guy in. He knew he had a few flaws that he needed to work on. And I don't know, I relate it this way, Bo. You know how a shooter, say he has a mechanical flaw, he's got to work on it. It's muscle memory. He's got to keep working on it. It's his feet. It's, how he, those are all things that are correctable, but they might take some time. There's going to be days he's going to be hot. There's going to be some days he's going to be cold, but he's not going to be pulled anytime soon. People need to let that go. This guy's got the ability. It's just he's got to keep refining it and working on the mechanics. I was more displeased with our defensive line the other day because I felt like we were getting pushed around by UAB. That was what was frustrating. I understand they didn't have the most physical practice this week and all that, but finally on that last drive right there, Landon Jackson, he started to win a few reps and he forced that interception. But they got to, hey, we can't use the excuse last week, we were trying to stop the run. Well, they didn't, early on, they were really struggling against the run. They're going to play better, and they can put whoever they want to above Arkansas. Next 2 weeks are going to say a lot about this team. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Charlie. Landon Jackson said after the game something that Charlie alluded to there.
In the first half, we got the iPads on the sidelines now, and we just weren't playing our football. We could talk about, physicality is one thing, but then on the iPads, we were out of our gaps, fitting the wrong holes. We literally just weren't playing good ball all around. So it doesn't matter if we're playing against, the worst team in the country. They're going to do the same thing if we're not in the right spot that we're supposed to be in.
I think that's important when you get into conference play because of the short yardage situations you're going to face. I look at the numbers after the UAB game. They rushed for 119 yards. That's not a figure you look at and say, man, we're going to lose today. They rushed for 3.4 yards a carry. Again, not a figure that you look at and say, man, we had a bad day. But they had some third down and short yardage situations where they needed 2, they got 3. They didn't get to the second level, but they got the first down. I think Arkansas is going to face a lot of these situations like that Saturday. And I think that's going to decide the game.
Yeah, you got to get off the field on third down.
Well, and you got to be good in short yardage.
Yeah.
You got to be good in short yardage. That's easier said than done.
The other side of that, the positive is you feel like Arkansas is going to have a running game all year.
Got a chance to.
You got to keep Jaquindon Jackson healthy. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off to other. He's just an exceptional back. At least he appears that way through 3 games.
I think the offensive line's better run blockers and pass blockers right now, too. I'm just mean that collectively, not every one of them, but collectively.
Trent Dilfer had an interesting comment after the game that he really wanted Bobby to go back to the passing game.
And Petrino, it's frustrating for an offensive coordinator who wants to get it on track and wants to get his quarterback going, wants to get some confidence going, but he didn't get away from the run game, and that's a hard thing to do. That is an experienced, seasoned coordinator. Did you have something, Bart, you wanted to jump in here with a riveting stat or insight?
I'm just having a hard time with some of this because Arkansas is 5th in the country in offensive output. 5th in the country is like, what, you want them to be first? Like,
and we've had calls today wondering why the quarterback wasn't benched. 877-377-6963. Keep it coming. It's a Reaction Monday. We're talking about it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Everyone remembers the Florida A&M game, and later became known here in Pulaski County as Rattler Gate.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
You say, well, that's a tough thing to say. Well, we live in a tough world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Together we stand as tall as the Tower of Old Maid. Our memories are etched in stone like names on Senior Walk, and our blood flows razorback red. For 100 years we've been hog wild, and today we continue the tradition. We are Arkansas Razorbacks.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients better lives with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, now offering same-day crown service. Mention you heard this ad on ESPN Radio at your next appointment and receive a free bleaching kit or $100 off in-office accelerated whitening. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3001 0 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
For 33 years, Mansfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstar battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert. And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets? Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys? Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral. Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter and Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based scramble He means the website, which is shop-on-razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
All you kids, anytime there's any problem, anytime somebody's, well, why don't you get YouTube TV? Well, why don't you get Sling? Why don't you, I mean, you've always got the answer. Right. You've always got the answer.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
What a dandy Monday morning. We're so glad you're here. 877-377-6963. You see your additional breakfast bars that were waiting
I
for
did.
you when you walked in?
I mentioned that to Bart. I don't know who was responsible, but
Well,
they have my
you're
kindest
My
regards.
little friends.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Well, tell them I said thank you.
I mean,
Next time you
they're
have
probably listening as they're
next
doing
time you have
kitchen
your
prep
little
or whatever this morning,
outing, whatever it is you guys do,
that stuff.
be
that
sure and
stuff-
thank them for
That
me.
stuff doesn't just make itself when you go in there to walk-ons and enjoy yourself watching a game.
All,
I mean,
all
like,
I know is
hard work that starts
Apple-
early in the morning.
I agree, and I'm all for them, and I go
Can we
walk
just
on.
can we just say for all of you who get up early in the morning and you work so hard, man, we're glad you're here. We're just really appreciate
too.
all the work you do to make Arkansas better.
You talking to me?
Well, this will be Chuck's last show.
I'm joking. It sounds like I'm getting dismissed on the air. Maybe
the quarterback.
We wish you well.
The quarterback of the dog frisbee show.
He's coming
That's
for me.
called HR.
He's
and
coming
you're,
for me.
You're on borrowed time. You
I
and
gotta
Billy
watch
Napier.
myself.
You and Billy Napier are both going to have an interesting Monday, Chuck.
Hey, he's got a better buyout than I do.
Hey, what if I told you that it's possible that if Billy Napier gets fired today, Dan Enos could be the interim head coach? What if I told you?
Stunned silence.
Yeah.
I got nothing for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's not
Danos.
Is he the only guy on their staff that's been a head coach?
I maybe. I don't know. And he's not even actually a coach. Like, he's an analyst.
See, here's the thing, and I'm going to be dead serious for just a minute. When you talk about firing a coach, and I know for a lot of Razorback fans who are upset right now, the solution is to fire the coach
and bench the quarterback.
But when you fire a coach,
or both,
when you fire a coach early in the season, as apparently Florida may be about to do, you're basically telling every single player that you don't matter. Your season doesn't matter. This is a wash. We got to appease these boosters. Thanks for your efforts, and we'll see you next time around. It is so disrespectful to the work that these players have put in. Now, look, I understand it's a bottom line business, but if you want to fire somebody in late November to let the recruits know that we're changing direction, that's one thing. But the idea, when you fire somebody in September, it's just to appease an angry fan base. That's the only reason that you do it. And I just think it's really, really disrespectful to the players and their families for the work that they put in. I think it sounds like Florida is leaning in that direction. And some others maybe too, before it's all said and done. But the idea, everyone's solution, when they gripe about what happened on a Saturday, the solution is always fire the head coach. And anyone that thinks firing the head coach in September is the recipe for a turnaround,
it's pretty rare.
Yeah, it just
It's
doesn't
pretty
happen.
rare. I mean,
in college sports, it's almost impossible.
It's happened before, but it's pretty rare. It creates way more chaos than you had previously. Now, if you got a guy that's just, he
It happens
is
in the
clearly
pros.
the one thing that's an issue. But like most of the time, now all the other coaches on the staff are going to be doing what? Spending half their time figuring out where they're going to be next year.
Things did not
They're
improve. Things did not improve that much when Dan Enos got fired last season.
They went and emotionally won a game at Florida.
Right. But my point is it was still, it wasn't as though the minute he was fired, the offense got completely better. I'm not taking up for Dan Enos. That didn't work. But my point is that people think that if you'll just fire somebody on Sunday, that by the time you get to the next Saturday, everything's going to be fixed.
Let's say there wasn't a personal issue with Enos and people in the organization, and that the performance wasn't good enough. You with me? So no, it's different if you're not getting along with the head coach, you're not getting along with the rest of the staff, you're not getting along with the players. But if it's a performance-related issue, like, hey, you're not very good on offense, you're probably better off keeping that guy throughout the season, trying to get better, knowing you're going to fire him at the end, than doing it right then. It just creates all kinds of chaos.
Here's what I find most interesting this morning. We got a lot of people that are more upset about a 10-point win over UAB than they were about an 8-point loss to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we did get it. Why are people so upset? Why is our fan base? Why are so many fans? This is from Jason in Fayetteville. I've never heard so many fans complain about a 10-point victory. And my question is, what causes that? What causes that? What makes fans be so upset over a 10-point win? I mean, I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear from fans. Like, everybody agrees that they didn't play particularly well, but what does it mean? What does it really mean for the rest of the year? What does it change? I mean, to me, that's the conversation. What did you see that confirmed or changed your mind? And that's going to be the conversation on Mondays pretty much throughout the season.
Well, I guess my question would be, all right, it didn't go the way you wanted it to go Saturday. You wanted them to dominate. They didn't dominate. What's your solution today? I mean, for all these people, this is unacceptable. We're mad because they didn't dominate. Well, all right. I get
That's
it.
my favorite. Unacceptable.
I understand all that. I get that you wanted to see Arkansas dominate, and I get that they didn't dominate the way you think they should. I don't totally think that's an out-of-bounds argument. I'm not as all in as some people are on it, but I don't think it's out of bounds. But I guess my question would be, all right, what do you want done about it? Because for most of these people, the solution is simply going to be fire the head coach. That's their catch-all solution for everything. And that is not a solution 3 weeks into the season. It's just not.
Do you think Billy Napier should be retained at Florida?
I think you should let the season play out. And then if you don't like where you are, by the time you get to the second or third week of November, given the reality of the early signing period and all that, I understand making a move then. I understand if you know you're going to go in a different direction. But no, I don't think you fire a guy 3 games into the season. Now, I will say this. They play at Mississippi State Saturday. That's where Florida coaches have gone to die. I mean, Ron Zook lost there, bang, out the next morning.
Yeah.
There was a time when losing to Mississippi State to get you fired the next day, and it will for Billy Napier. If he makes it to Saturday and they lose in Starkville, he'll get fired the next day.
I just think it's an interesting discussion because if you're the athletic director, these things started because somebody started it. Like whoever the first AD was to fire a coach when the fans got really loud, then it became a thing. And it's like, it makes people feel better for a day, and it's dramatic and the media covers it. And it's like, wow, it's a big deal. It's a big story. And then you wake up the next week and where are you? Are you better? You know, so I guess my question, and I know we're talking about Florida, but it's like it's this way at every program. I mean, when things aren't going well. So it's a broader discussion than just Florida. But what gives you a better chance to have the best possible season you can have? Is it the AD telling the fans, I'm backing this guy for the rest of the year? Or is it firing the coach? 3 games or 4 games.
They're 2-1. You don't say anything other than we're getting ready to go play Auburn.
Right. Well, that's backing the coach, though. I mean, I'm not saying you got to come out and give them a dreaded vote of confidence. I'm just saying not listening to the fans.
Well, when you're 2-1, you've just won by 10, and you haven't played a conference game.
I'm not talking about Arkansas. I'm talking about Florida.
I got you. Well, Florida. I mean, look. I think you got to let the season play out. There. But I'm smart enough to know if they don't win this week, it's over.
877. We got a lot of text to respond to. 877.
That's what I was reading when you were talking. I'm sorry.
377-6963.
No, what you were saying wasn't interesting, but the text line's active.
No, and it is more interesting, and we'll get to that when we come back. For
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I think that having Brian, allowing him to call in occasionally, is a healthy reminder of why you don't like Texas.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal Price Check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Think better. Member FDIC.
The tailgating scene on a perfect fall day in the natural state. Calling the Hogs with 75,000 plus as the Razorbacks run through the A. And all the things you love about football game days are near. Football season tickets are now on sale for marquee matchups against Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and longtime rival and new SEC foe, Texas.
Slant, caught, touchdown, Arkansas.
Experience game day on the Hill and secure your seat and tailgating space by visiting ArkansasRazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands: Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Park.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball.
Yeah, that's Arkansas. We did it last week in the second half, and then probably in the first half it was Arkansas. Now, saying that, you don't give the other team credit. That's shame on me because UAB was really ready to play. They had a good game plan. Coach Diller, his crew did a wonderful job, but we got to play harder, smarter.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio
we got whipped on both sides of the ball in the first half. They were in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3, just turn around and hand the football off. That should not happen to us. It did put us in rough situations.
Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
I want to make a couple of points here because I have the floor. All of it. The Chuck and Bo Show.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sportsbook in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge Side-by-Side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
And their families said they'd never amount to anything. The Chuck and Bo Show.
What in the world? What if you go beat Auburn bad, but later find out the coach has been eating dogs and cats? Do you let them finish out the year? HR.
The dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Oh, man. Brandon in Paris said, I don't think anybody's happy with the loss or it was a win. He said, I don't think anybody thinks it was acceptable how they played, the players, coaches, all that. But they found a way to win. And in the past, maybe they don't find a way to win that game.
That's fair. David's in Searcy. David, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, Chuck, to a certain extent, I have to agree with you. You can't be wringing your hands and gnashing teeth because we just beat UAB by 10 points. I believe Georgia had 12 first downs and 200 yards of total offense. Things happen. Every game is different. But now you take an old hand like me who's watched Razorbacks since the 60s, Honestly, I almost wish that UAB had enough time at the end of the game to score so we could have won a one-score game. You understand what I'm talking about? Because we never win a one-score game. So I really wish they'd had enough time. I don't care if it's a field goal or a touchdown. I would like to have notched a one-score game for the coach.
Yeah, you need those stats. Got to get that 2-10 record up.
Here's the deal.
Close games.
Old hands like me are kind of scared now, where I wasn't that scared to begin with because the way the defensive line got physically dominated for a decent portion of the game, the way the offensive line allowed our quarterback to be on the run half the game, it seemed like. It probably wasn't, but it seemed like it anyway. The way the announcers had to point out to a guy like me who probably didn't see it anyway, that we had a receiver running wide open down the middle of the field. But you got to take that with a grain of salt also, because he could have been the third progression. The quarterback might have been started being flushed out of the pocket. You never know. You never know. But still yet, it happened. And those things have scared guys who keep the Razorbacks every week.
Yeah.
So we're a little uneasy, but a win is great because at the end of the season, nobody's going to look back all across the country, media, other fans in other states, nobody's going to look back that we just beat UAB by 10 points. They're going to look at what our record is, and that's what we're going by. And let me reiterate one more time. It is absolutely wonderful to have two pros like you on every day. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Chuck and Bo Show approaching 8 a.m. on a Reaction Monday. We'll get back to the phones and texts next. Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there can also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
We want to make sure that you can read some ludicrous lyrics on his 47th birthday today.
I can do that one. Roll out, roll out.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Check out the new Wacker Newson ST45 at Sharp Equipment. It's bigger, bolder, and is ideal for lifting and loading. The vertical path lift arm allows for easy load placement in demanding applications where reach and height is a requirement. For compact, heavy equipment with a great deal of power, visit them and check out the new Wacker Newson lineup at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly cloudy sky, a 50-50 chance of seeing some showers. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 70s. Later on tonight, we should see a partly cloudy sky, overnight low in the low to mid 60s. Returning to sunshine tomorrow, high temperatures mid 80s, and then for Wednesday, lots of sunshine, a high upper 80s to near 90. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal?
I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future. Then the future comes, and your wallet's not ready for that $250 maintenance. But your forklift is. It needs it. Good thing you're smart. You're buying a used forklift from Medley Equipment Company this summer, and its first planned maintenance will be free because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
How are your pets, Joe? Your pets safe?
They're eating the pets.
One of my dogs, he's about 60 pounds. He'd make a good Thanksgiving dinner, I guess. I'm keeping an eye on him, though. I'm keeping them safe.
Thanks, Joe.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Can you believe we're doing this? Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
I'm going to get another excuse for this jackwater.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. Why Kurt Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. Flight by Yingling and Fayetteville Auto Park. And now, Chuck and Bo.
I just hope that Frisbee dog's okay.
Yeah.
That's all. That's really all I came out of Saturday worried about.
Took an IV after the game. He's back. He'll be back next week.
Wasn't that incredible?
It was.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
Joe should throw Frisbees to his dog that, like get him a little fit, get in shape, You think Joe could throw a Frisbee? Man, that guy can really throw a Frisbee.
He could throw a Frisbee.
Really,
He
that
showed off his
guy
arm.
could really throw a Frisbee.
He wasn't the show, but
There were a couple of times. The
I thought he was
dog
gonna
got
get
into
booed.
the UAB bench.
I thought the thrower guy was going to get booed before it was all said and done. All right, 877-377-6963. Well, whatever you call it.
The dog quarterback.
Yeah, the guy throwing the Frisbee.
The quarterback dog.
JW held through the break in London. JW, thank you and welcome to the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Hey,
guys.
I may be one of the few veteran fans out there who enjoyed the game. And the reason why I did was we're going to see how good our coaching staff is now. You can't fix flaws unless you see them, and there were plenty of flaws to be fixed. And so I'm really looking forward to see how they address them. But one of the questions that I have for you all is, as veteran observers, one of the things that I think is really hard to teach, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, is discipline. That second one for sure. There is no reason to go for the face mask when you've already got him done. How do you, I realize that a lot of defensive players are just controlled animals as it is, but how does the coaching staff go about fixing that, teaching discipline to these young men who are 18, 19, whatever years old? And anyway, thank you all for your show. It's a great format in the morning. It's really nice to have knowledgeable people to wake up to and listen to. And thank you all.
Well, thanks for that. I don't know. Chuck's knowledgeable. I'm here, serviceable.
We both
877
made it in on time.
377-6963. I don't know what on time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you
Whatever,
ever seen
man.
anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here? What time did you get here this morning?
It's not the pride factor. It's the let's make sure we're prepared factor.
Well,
it's discipline.
prepared.
Did you hear the man?
Whatever.
It's discipline.
Good God Almighty.
It's discipline. Mike and Greenwood, you're on the Chuck and Bo show. Good morning.
Morning. I just wanted to call and make a few points. Bart said earlier that we were the number 15 offensive team in the nation. A few weeks ago, we was number 1 or 2. Last year, we weren't ranked 5,000 in college football on offense. We couldn't score. We couldn't do nothing. I love where our team is headed, where our team is going. Yes, our quarterback missed some wide open receivers, but at the same time, you could tell he's trying to work through his progressions. Fire the coach. We don't need to fire nobody. We just need to get better at every position. I thought for you guys, it's good to listen to good people that knows what they're talking about on football. So I'll hang up and listen.
All right, Mike.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you. Might be a little too generous with your compliments
Yeah,
there,
but
but
the brakes on the compliments.
It's look,
We're game 3 here, but we got a lot. We can really fall apart. Who's going to fall apart first, the team or us?
I don't know. Flip a coin on.
For the season,
I don't think the team's going to fall apart, and I don't think we're going to fall apart either. I am not as look. I'm not an idiot. I know, and I watched a lot of it. And I'm not selling myself short either.
Are you sure?
But I've watched a lot of these teams over the years, and this team's they are a work in progress. This is not a veteran team. This is not a team where you return a quarterback and you return a bunch of receivers. It's not a team where you know what you have going in. Some years you know what you have. Look, if Arkansas had a veteran team, bunch of guys that have been together, 18, 19 starters back from a year ago, and they beat UAB by 10, well, I might be a little bit more apt to, really pay some solid mind to those who are upset. But when you look at all the new parts in all of this, the idea that the third week of the season you're going to be a finished product is really naive. It may be the middle of October before we see the finished product. What I hope is that they can keep their head above water while they're doing all this. Not get into a situation where all of a sudden they're 0-2 in conference play and the season's shot. Because by then, when it all comes together, it may not matter anymore, or you may not ever get there. But I never thought this team would be prolific during the month of, or at least through the first 3 ball games. I never thought that would be the case. And I don't know how you could. With a new coordinator and a new I just don't know how anyone could expect that.
Chuck, I'd like you to start with the quarterback and just grade all the positions.
I'm not doing that.
What do we have? Grade for offense, defense? Look, defensively, I have some concerns, mainly because I thought the defensive line was going to be a little more dominant to this point in the season, and we really haven't seen that. Offensively, I still think this team is going to be pretty good. Like they got some things to figure out, but I unlike some people who are all over Taylon Green, I mean, I know he's not an all-world passer right now, but like we got a text here from Goonie, which is always to be taken seriously when that's your name, that your handle that you're using. So is it okay if I come out and say Auburn will stack the box with 8 or 9 players to stop the run against Arkansas and force Green to pass it? Look, this is what running the football does.
I hope
for
they
you.
do that. I hope they do that.
Then you're going to see a better passer in Taylon Green. But like what Petrino did a great job of in that game is taking what they gave him and they were able to run the ball. And what Taylon did a great job after starting 0 for 5, by the way. Started 0 for 5 with a pick. He did a great job of extending plays and making plays with his legs. And doing that can't be overlooked. It can't be overlooked. It doesn't mean you want to rely on that the rest of the season. But if you can get some things figured out, you've got a good running game. You got a mobile quarterback. Petrino did have some open guys schemed up that Talon missed for whatever reason, had a couple drops. Those things are all things that can improve. The defensive line, the defense, like tackling can improve. Getting pressure on the quarterback, that's an answer they got to go find.
I know Friday night we inducted a quarterback into the Hall of Honor who was probably a whole lot more dangerous with his legs than with his arm. You can win a lot of ball games like that. And I know that, again, Green, when he missed, man, some of them he missed badly. And that's what I think probably sticks with people. But again, this is a guy that gave you over 250 yards of total offense between running and throwing. He's going to average somewhere around 300 or so or more every game. And that's why he's in there.
You know, you mentioned Matt Jones there. What was that Miracle on Markham game where Matt had completed maybe 3 passes or something and throws a game?
Yeah.
You know, I look at Talon Green, and this hasn't been determined yet, but do you think he's a playmaker? Do you think he's a gamer?
I think he's a competitor.
Okay.
A very strong
we've
competitor.
Heard all about his
he may be a gamer.
All that stuff. I mean,
we don't know enough yet to really call him a gamer.
Well, how about this? How about we overlook this, okay? They're down 17-3 at home to a team they should not be losing to. That's pressure. That's pressure. That's not easy. Is there any positive that comes out of that?
Oh, I think so.
I mean, you're down 2 touchdowns at home, and you know you shouldn't be losing. And you know you've been making mistakes. Like, they had to rally, get together, come back and win the game. There's some positives in that, at least to me.
Oh, I think there's positives to take from that. Anytime you win, it's good. Anytime you win, it's good. And I know that there were not the style points that people wanted, and I get all that. I was hoping they'd dominate them too.
Well, I expected them to.
I did as well. I did as well, just like most people did.
That's another thing. Like, if you're upset today, were you one of the people that said...
It's because your expectations weren't met.
But also, we've had a bunch of people that don't really have any expectations for this team. But did they think Arkansas was going to roll? And I think Andy and Mountain Home makes a good point. I think lots of people complain because lots of people gamble and the Hogs didn't cover.
Well, I think that's part of it. I always think that's part of it. In fact, when Arkansas doesn't cover and someone calls in and gripes about the way they played, I'm always tempted to ask them, did you have action on the game?
So you got to be careful, because Chuck and I all week get excited. Oh, they're gonna put up a lot of points, because we ask on Friday, do you think they're going to cover? Do you believe they're going to cover? I mean, I thought they were going to cover. Did you think they were going to cover?
I didn't know if they'd cover. I thought they'd score a lot of points.
Where was that on Friday before we all put our money down? Chuck, we need that kind of insight from you on Fridays.
Well, that is the sort of betting insight you don't get everywhere. I mean, it is.
It really is.
I mean, it is.
We're gonna carve off a special segment.
Well,
and the name of the segment is the kind of insight you don't get just anywhere, with Chuck Barrett.
That's right.
Voice of the Hogs.
So
Arkansas comes in as a 3.5-point underdog this week.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. Down on the plains.
That's what I hear.
That's another segment. That's what I hear.
I am not the smartest person when it comes to betting.
That's what
lines.
I hear.
I am not. Picking winners is not hard. Picking lines. That's why I don't do it.
Oh, picking winners is not hard.
It's not as hard as picking lines. It's not as hard as picking lines. Yeah. I think I could come out to the good if all you had to do was pick the winners. Yes.
How many career?
But now spread's a different deal.
How many gamblers that are up in their gambling career, like lifetime?
I don't know. I don't know very many. But I know those new sports books and casinos pop up everywhere. Everywhere they can get somebody to let them build one, they're building it.
If you ask Chuck, picking winners, now that's easy.
Well, it's easier than spreads. It's easier than spreads.
That's true.
Speaking of, we were talking about the Florida-Mississippi State game earlier. Florida, a 4.5-point favorite on the road in Starkville.
Would you take them?
Absolutely not.
You would?
No.
You would not?
No. I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole.
Florida wins that game.
Well,
Florida wins that game.
You would think. Mississippi State looks really, really, really awful.
When is has the Florida media there in Gainesville gathered around the complex yet today?
I think they were. I was looking at some of their stuff. It was very familiar.
Is Billy going to be the coach by the end of the day?
Yeah.
877-377-6963. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, first and foremost, congratulations on the official launch of the Chuck and Bo Show. I want to know, how did you guys decide which name went first, Chuck or Bo? Was that a flip of a coin?
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there can also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to sweatinumcosmetic.com, sweatinumcosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
We are possibly entering what could be a golden age in Razorback athletics.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a 4th-generation family-owned business, taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I'm a diehard Cowboy, and I'm with you 100%. But predicting the Super Bowl,
I'm there.
Fan, you know,
I'm there.
I believe in curses.
Cowboy fans,
but
Arkansas fans, all the feels of Cowboys are going to Cowboy again.
Nah.
Arkansas going to Arkansas again.
This is the year.
This is the year.
Well, that's a point that didn't age very well. I mean, it took about 4 days for that point to just be blown all to hell, and then the Saints just blew them out yesterday. But
They still got a chance, Chuck.
Yeah, they still
2 games
They
in.
got 15 games left. Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Brian's in Ozark.
Fire.
Brian, you're on the Chuck and Bo show.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, I don't know if you've
Arch.
heard, but Texas is ranked number 1 today.
Arch Manning's going on.
Dude, I've been saying that all year, dude. You know what I mean? I know that they're better than Georgia and anybody else in SEC.
Wow.
Now, what cracks me up is all these people that have been on various Arkansas shows that have said that Arch Manning is nothing but a name. You know, the funny thing about it is, this is a fact. He's a better athlete than Eli or Peyton.
Who would say that?
Brian.
Like, did you make that up? Like, who would say that?
Yeah, I mean,
Who's
who
Arch
are
Manning's
these
like
people?
the most
Who are
recruited?
these people? Who are these people,
Like,
Brian?
what do you got? Like a ham radio signal that you got?
I've heard that all over these sports stores and
Oh,
Can't even talk.
I have not. So
I haven't. I think you're making that up, Brian.
Nothing but name.
well, that's ridiculous.
Really?
Nobody. I mean,
I know
Arch
it's
Manning.
ridiculous
Well,
that
like
somebody would say that.
right. So like, what are we? Let's talk about something else. It's ridiculous. Nobody's saying that here.
What else you got,
What?
Brian? What else you got?
Man,
Is that it?
Come on.
Okay. Second of all, I'm not surprised that Arkansas had a lackluster performance against a mid-major team.
And why is that, Brian?
You know, because their defense is not as good as what everybody's made it. Their offense isn't that great. And
So
that's
Arkansas is not as
Saturday.
good as everybody's made it. Is what basically you just said. The offense, and the
Auburn-
that's the team.
Auburn's going to roll. Auburn will roll Arkansas Saturday.
Now, what does roll mean?
Roll Tide.
Double digits.
Double digits.
Double
All right,
digits.
double digits.
Double digits.
Auburn covers. Double
So,
digits.
Auburn by 10 or more.
Who do the Horns got this weekend, Brian? Who do the Horns got?
We got Louisiana Monroe, and we're a 45.5-point favorite.
You think you cover?
Doesn't matter which quarterback. Doesn't matter which quarterback.
What's the
plays,
spread?
They're going to cover that.
What's the spread?
45 and a half.
45 and a half.
You think they cover?
45.5. Yes.
Okay. So if they don't, which I don't think they will, if they don't, are you going to be upset?
Absolutely not, because they're going to blow them out. Just like they
Well, what if
were,
you don't? I'm just like, hypothetically, what happens if it's a
Brian, do you bet or are you just talking?
I bet.
Okay.
So what happens if it's a 45-21 game?
Well,
You upset? Disappointed?
like you said, hypothetically, I mean, yeah, that would be a disappointment. Would I be upset? No, because it's still a win. But
Whoa.
you know,
Ooh, yeah.
Louisiana Monroe is 2-0. They beat UAB as
They did.
well by more than 10.
Yeah.
Like by 30, actually.
Right. It's true.
So, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
do I think
Actually, they beat him by
lose by-
26, but you know.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, we got to go, man. All right, Brian, you're boring me now, buddy. Time to go to Little Rock, talk to Jackson. Jackson, you're on the Chuck and Bo show.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Jeez.
Not really.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jackson.
I'm not going to talk about Texas if that's okay with you.
That's
guys.
fine.
Yeah. Well, I will say
Made
I
up that
was
whole thing about
disappointed
Arch.
in the game on Saturday, but had a couple of thoughts, and I will say that I am a betting guy, but I did not have action on the Hogs game Saturday, and I felt like I had some reasons not to. I go through and watch all the press conferences like a lot of fans during the week. And on Tuesday, when they had the offensive and defensive personnel, and when the reporters asked specifics about UAB's personnel and their scheme, what they thought, in both instances, the players just kind of looked at each other and laughed, and they didn't have an answer. And it seemed like, either they didn't pay attention in the film sessions they had leading up to Tuesday, or B, they hadn't even watched film on UAB yet by Tuesday, and it just didn't seem like they knew much about the opponent in a crucial period of preparation for a game on a Saturday. And you knew UAB wasn't super talented. I think they're more talented than they showed against UL Monroe, but it just kind of felt like one of those games where maybe they weren't taking it super seriously in the week leading up to it. And I thought that showed for sure on Saturday, especially on the defensive side of the ball. their backs were more physical than our safeties and our linebackers, and it hurt us in that game. But on the flip side of that, leading into Auburn, I think we will prepare more diligently for that game, and I expect to see a better performance. And I probably will have action on Arkansas, not only to cover, but to win that game, because I don't think Auburn's good at all.
All right.
Thank you, Jackson.
I didn't catch that with the players. I do think that UAB had a completely different offense than they had the week before. I think they were kind of in the middle of some figuring it out, and they settled in on what their identity was going to be, and I think what it'll be the rest of the season. UAB was really good offensively last year, set school records. Quarterbacks from Baylor, he's been good, and it was really surprising for them to have the performance they had against Louisiana Monroe. So be that as it may, I mean, there's a lot of comparisons going, to what Arkansas did against UAB, what UAB did against ULM. Every game's its own game. I mean, what South Carolina did to Kentucky, and then what Kentucky did to Georgia, every game's its own game. Every matchup's its own matchup. I think that the bigger picture, Chuck, is just what are you seeing that could bring potential upside, and what are you seeing that could be potential downside that as you look at the rest of the season?
I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing Cody and Lavaca challenging Brian from Ozark. He's saying that I'd like to catch him out in public a few times. So that's what I'm seeing this morning.
He'd like to catch him out in public.
That is what it says. It says I'd like to catch Brian from Ozark out in public.
We can't condone
a few
that.
times.
We can't condone that.
Let's get some action on that.
Yeah. Well,
let's get some action on that.
Well, Brian he's a healthy reminder of what you don't like about Texas. I mean, here he is, number one. He doesn't have anything to say about his team other than, these people that think Arch is no good. No, who thinks that? What do you think? You made that up. You're number one today. You're number one today.
No
enjoy
one's
it.
bad mouthing Arch. That's like these guys that have been ranked number one all year, and they go, everybody doubted us. Everybody doubted us, but we stayed together. It's like, no, nobody doubted you. You're ranked number one all year. Yeah. No one doubted you for a second.
Right. He's having his own arguments with himself.
Arguing with himself.
We're brought to you in part by Flight by Yingling. Flight by Yingling, it's the next generation of light beer. It's brewed for the drinker who doesn't want to compromise on flavor or taste. For those who don't follow trends but craft them, who get more out of their day, night, and everything in between. For the go-getters, there's a new go-to. It's Flight by Yingling. 12 ounces of premium refreshment from America's oldest brewery. And with only 2.6 grams of carbs, 95 calories, and 4.2% ABV, this is premium refreshment. 6 generations in the making. So get out there, keep pushing, crushing, and raising your game. Your ice-cold flight is awaiting. Don't just raise a glass, raise a Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. By the way, anybody want to get into tossing Frisbees to dogs after watching that over the weekend? Did they get to think
that poor
dog?
That poor dog.
That dog needs to be on NIL. Good morning. It's the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Rick's in Fayetteville. Rick, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's a privilege to talk with you guys, and I love the Razorbacks.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Salem Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Touchdown, Arkansas! We fought back. We took a punch, and we answered back. He's going to go! Johnson's at midfield, and there he goes! 88 yards. Keith, I saw it, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith now has meal deals starting at $9.99, which includes an entree, side, and fountain drink. Try their delicious 6-ounce sirloin served with seasoned fries for $15.99. The Bacon Ranch Chicken Sandwich with seasoned fries, $11.99. Chicken Caesar Salad for $10.99 and more. Their meal deals also include tasty chicken fettuccine Alfredo served with garlic breadsticks for $12.99 and a cheeseburger with seasoned fries for only $9.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If Arkansas is a stock, are you buying?
I'm buying.
Are you buying?
I'm buying. It's low right now. This is the time to buy it.
Well, I think he's the guy here. I don't know if he ever was at Utah. I think he feels different here. Every time we ask him, he does some pretty spectacular things. The line does a good job, but he probably never was Utah. And he got injured over there as well. So they probably would have used him every bit as much as we had if he was healthy.
Let's just not lose the fact that Jaquindon Jackson, 15 carries, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. One thing people have said today quite a bit, it's fair, is I just want to see some consistency. I want to see some consistency. And I do think we really don't know enough about this team yet. We're starting to see some things. They got to get some things fixed. But one thing that's been consistent is Jaquindon Jackson, and that's a fact. 877-377-6963.
And their overall rushing game's been good. I mean, 266 yards on the ground. You can win a lot of games with that. Let's pause just for a second. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you are buying or selling a home, if you find yourself in the real estate market, so to speak, I want to recommend my friends to you. And the reason I call them my friends is this. They were around the first time I bought a home, and you can fast forward about 30 years later, and they're still there. And that's what a business relationship, a real estate relationship, that's what real trust is all about. Those are the kind of people I like doing business with. And that's what I found at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. What I didn't know, they walked me through. What I thought I knew, they told me I was wrong when they needed to. And we got from contract to close. And that's what you got to do in a real estate transaction. And that's why I'd recommend it based on my experience. I think that'll be your experience too. They've got offices in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. They're in Branson. They've got a wide selection of homes. You can check it out at WeicherGriffin.com. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978.
I said that Brian and Ozark is a healthy reminder of what people don't like about Texas. Somebody responded, it's a reminder, all right, but he ain't healthy.
That's pretty good. I have to tell you, Brian, I mean, he can elicit some response here on the text line,
just
man.
by being him.
Just by being
but
Brian.
I gotta say, like, I'm disappointed in his calls lately. You know, and sometimes
He's
I'm
really not
disappointed.
bringing much.
Yeah, sometimes I'm
going to
disappointed
challenge him
in my own performance. But I mean, he just like it's the last two. I mean, he's not covering. If you want to know the truth about
really
it,
not.
he's not.
He's
covering.
just showing up.
I mean, 877-377-6963, reacting to Arkansas's. I mean, literally, I've almost called it a loss twice. I did once. Literally almost called it a loss. Arkansas's win.
Look,
10-point victory, a come from behind win. Look, it doesn't absolve them from all the mistakes. Nobody's saying that. But also, there were some things that you say, well, they came back and won from being embarrassed in the first half, and in the game never really being, you know, they were. I think you said it on the radio. They're not out of the woods yet, and they had to go finish the game. There's some good that could come out of that.
Maybe so. I mean, hopefully there will be. You know, as you move forward, I just think that. You know, people say that sometimes the early season games matter. You know, people formulate opinions, I guess, premature opinions based on what they see in the early ball games. And that's certainly true. This is a game that when the season's over, I don't know that we're going to be talking all that much about, because if the season falls apart and these guys get fired, there's going to be games after this one that seal their fate.
Well,
not this game.
Yeah, the bigger games are ahead.
And if
You
they
just gotta win that game.
if they move forward and win some games and get into a bowl game and have a good year and give people reason to hope, I don't think people are going to look back and go, man, but if we just, you know, scored 2 more touchdowns against UAB. I don't think that's going to be the reaction.
You mind if I go third person for a second?
Please do.
Bart, what are they saying about Chuck and Bo on X? This is the best social media platform
I know.
for
I'm
hate
not
and
sure I wanna hear
disgust and
this.
vitriol.
Look, we like some friendly feedback every once in a while.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not. That is not what this is.
We got to do the mean tweet segment. We
Yeah.
got to bring that back from the old show.
So this is from this first tweet is from somebody who is using a fake account.
I just
name.
know this is going to be just littered with just authenticity and genuineness and heartfelt passion.
Well, the first 2 words are the clowns. So
The clowns.
the clowns.
The Clown and Bo Show.
The clowns.
The Clown and Bro Show.
There you go. Let's update let's get the voice guy to.
It's the Clown and Bro Show.
It was plural.
Yeah.
Plural.
He did.
The Clowns and Bro
It was
Show.
plural.
Sorry, Chuck. I called you a clown.
It was clown.
I got it on
parentheses S.
I got it on the fun.
That's right.
I was in on it.
Why do you assume he was
It's
calling
the
me a clown?
And they think that Arch is only good because of his last name.
The clowns of at Chuck and Bo Show talking bleep on fans for disappointment over the weekend, making every excuse to gaslight everyone to feel okay with a terrible performance. 25% of the season is over now. It's too late to figure it out now, Chuck. That's actually he did say Chuck by name there.
Did he say it loud like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt like we were doing a dramatic.
Was it capital letters?
I feel like we were doing dramatic readings, so I went with it. And then Marcus followed up. Marcus replied to this and said, "The condescending attitude and outright talking down to fans
that's Bo.
is off the chart.
You're talking about Bo there.
That's for sure.
I'll take the clown hit from a moment
apologize.
ago, but the condescending part's Bo.
They should remember, without these ridiculous fanatics, there's no crowd, no donations, and nobody to beg for NIL dollars.
I'd like to issue a public apology for
would you
talking down. Chuck gaslights. I talk down. It's a short man complex thing. I apologize. It's that Napoleon complex. I think sometimes it can happen though, for real. I think it can happen where something gets said that we feel like is so uninformed that it feels that way. Don't intend it to, but sometimes it's going to happen. But the intent here is to try to bring some conversation that's more than just fire somebody. Like let's dig in a little bit and see what we have here. And again, I'll ask the question, what do we have here? What do we have here? Well, Chuck and I can tell you what we think, but what do you think that we have here with Arkansas? Brian's in Fayetteville. Brian, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. We are talking up to you. Good morning.
Hey, great. Hey, good to talk to you guys. I think there's a couple things going on here that, for one, there's a ton of the fan base that is so pissed off because they still are living in the Petrino years, and they want Petrino back so bad that they've got Pittman derangement syndrome, that they want to find any excuse to get rid of Pittman so they can bring Petrino in. And if I understand it correctly, Petrino can't even come in as head coach again. And as far as I understand also from talking to the people up here, he doesn't want to be head coach again. The other thing is that everybody's worried about the defense, but if I'm correct, I'm watching the games, and the defensive line is basically holding containment and gap control. You don't see a lot of stunning. You don't see a lot of twisting. They're playing very vanilla, and they've done it for 3 weeks. You hardly saw any blitzing even at Oklahoma State. T. Will has been running a very, very vanilla package, and we're coming up against his team that he went to school at this week, and I get a feeling he's going to unleash his dynamic schemes that we saw in the past. The only problem that I see in this is that holding containment like that is making the defensive backs carry coverage way too long. And so we've got a pretty good secondary, but they're having to carry coverage too long, and that's why I think we're seeing some guys break loose.
I agree.
So anyway, that's all I've got.
Man,
all right, thanks, Brian.
Man, that was thoughtful.
It was.
That was good. Here's the thing about his point on T. Will, and you might ask, well, why would you be vanilla at Oklahoma State? You probably need to be more than that. Well, those that know football really well will tell you that the plan at Oklahoma State would not be to blitz that quarterback who's going to be getting it out quicker, and you're going to have guys running free down the field. And that just doesn't, you don't always blitz everybody.
They did some run blitzing in that game to a degree, but we don't generally notice that. We call it a blitz when they go after the quarterback.
Right.
And that's they've been really good against the run, and the numbers against Oklahoma State had a lot to do with that. Brian's right when he says that even a good secondary can be rendered average if you don't make that quarterback rush some of his throws. And I also think that the point's valid, and this is why I brought it up earlier. We don't know exactly if we have seen Travis Williams play his hand yet.
Right.
My guess would be Auburn's going to see some things this week in Arkansas's defensive alignment, in the things they show them pre-snap, and in the things they show them post-snap. Auburn's going to see some things Saturday they've not seen Arkansas do yet this year. And they're going to see some things on film that they have to work on that may not turn out to be big issues in the ball game at all.
Week to week, you can see a lot of different schemes on both sides of the ball, right? I mean, I think where I would be getting frustrated as a Razorback fan is if week after week, I feel like my team doesn't have a chance because they're showing up, making the same mistakes, doing the same things, not able to move the ball, not able to do anything on defense. I think UAB got the ball out pretty quick most of the time. Like they kept it moving pretty good. It wasn't a lot of drop back deep passes. There were a couple.
And again, I'll say what I said earlier. Every time that kid went back to throw, I'm thinking, man, somebody needs to be picking this guy off. I mean, I did. I thought that the whole game.
Better than you thought.
And, but he, well, it just shows, though, Bo, if you don't put pressure on the quarterback, it doesn't really matter what his form looks like. He's going to be able to complete some passes. So, again, though, I think Auburn will see some things from Arkansas's defense they've not seen before.
877-377-6963. This ought to be good. The Sooner Kid is in Bentonville.
Hello, Chuck. Hello, Bo.
Sooner Kid.
Can you hear me?
Boomer Sooner. Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Very well.
Yeah, I just want to say we've got a tough one coming up Saturday with Tennessee, and that last caller, both Mozart, and he's a Texas Longhorn fan.
Brian from Ozark. Yep.
I just want to remind him that the Golden Hat's setting in Norman, Oklahoma, and not Austin. And then the 20 years that we were in the Big 12, we won it 14 times. Texas won it 3. And that I want to say that Oklahoma fears God and Texas fears Oklahoma.
That's good. I like that. Thank you.
That's good.
Thanks, Sooner Kid.
The numbers didn't match up there.
No.
What happened in the other game?
Yeah, I was going to say, but
I mean, were there three
let's
ties?
not let numbers get in the way of a good argument.
That's exactly right. Chuck and Bo Show. It's 8:46. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Bo, it's good to hear you back on the radio, man. I missed you in the afternoons, and you guys seem to be gelling right along. So it's good to hear both of you on morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. PG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
You know, for me, when it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's just one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas: Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. And they don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you every step of the way. So whether it's a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or maybe just treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
The tailgating scene on a perfect fall day in the natural state. Calling the Hogs with 75,000 plus as the Razorbacks run through the A. And all the things you love about football game days are near. Football season tickets are now on sale for marquee matchups against Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and longtime rival and new SEC foe, Texas.
Slant, caught, touchdown, Arkansas.
Experience game day on the Hill and secure your seat and tailgating space by visiting ArkansasRazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Razorback fans, it's Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmer. And it's a great time to be a Razorback.
Embrace the hoe!
Whether it's a touchdown, a slam dunk, or a grand slam.
Big Susie, they were doing all the stuff. I went in there to get something to eat, and they're cheering. I'm like, what is going on here?
We're here with the excitement and insight you crave.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps now, you know.
It's the Razorback Daily from the team at Sport and Store.
That might be our best episode ever.
Available wherever you listen to your podcast each morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I got 2 things I want to talk about real quick, and I'll get out of your hair.
We don't have any hair, Sterling. Another great line. Thank you.
Good pun there. Nicely played, Sterling.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, glad you're back. As we move toward the top of the 9 o'clock hour, cooler weather's coming. It's not here yet, but we're starting to get a taste of it. Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric is always going to be your headquarters, particularly when the seasons are changing. Because, you're going to have to turn that heater on at some point, and you want it to work right the first time out. Same for the spring when you got to turn that AC on. The thing that you get with Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric's that planned protection program. That gives you peace of mind, let you know whatever the season. If you want to turn your heater on in the morning and your air conditioner on in the afternoon, they'll help you do that at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. That's what I like to do. They've also got their price check program working right now. Somebody tells you that you need a new system and you don't know if that's true or not, call Paschal. They'll come out. They'll check it out. If you need a new one, they'll tell you. They might even try to sell you one. But if you don't need one, they're not going to tell you that you do. And that's what you get with Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Peace of mind from Arkansas people. You can schedule your appointment today. You can do it right now at gopaschal.com.
877-377-6963. Mike's in Goshen. Mike, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chuck and Bo. How are you guys?
Hey, Mike. Great.
We need some rain bad. Hey, ESPN just reported the Chiefs had to put Isaiah Pacheco on IR for possibly 4 weeks or more from that leg injury yesterday.
Yeah, that looked bad when it happened.
The champions find a way to win, and the Chiefs came through there.
That they showed an aerial shot of Arrowhead last night, and I was just like, man, that is impressive. What's happened there over the last, I don't know, however many years. It's, it hasn't always been like that at Arrowhead. It's always been a cool atmosphere.
It's like a college atmosphere.
But I mean, yes, it is just like next level. And, what winning does for a program or an organization is, we talk about it and you say it like it's so obvious and simple. But it's so hard, and you hear this on our show. We hear it from fans. It's so hard when you're not used to winning. Like you just can't get that. Like we joked earlier on the show, we need to have therapy. We need to have therapy in here like once a week. So let people call in and say, man, I've been struggling ever since 07, 08, whatever it is. Or the day that Petrino, was no longer the head coach. You got to get it out. You got to deal with that emotion, Chuck.
Well, here's the thing about Mahomes and Kansas City. I mean, you just have this feeling because of him in the waning moments Same feeling you used to have with Joe Montana.
You expect them to win.
You expect them to win. And more importantly, the 10 other guys in the huddle, in addition to Patrick Mahomes, expect them to win too, in large part because of him. I think Andy Reid's a brilliant coach. I think culture, I think all those things are factors. But the biggest factor is the quarterback. And that's the biggest factor with Kansas City. And that's why they keep winning.
And I'll say this for Taylor Green, in spite of the fact that he didn't have a very good game throwing the football, he led his team to a win, a comeback victory.
Got to be better this week. There's a lot of work to do on the practice field this week, and I'm not telling them anything
Across
they
the
don't
board.
know.
Across the board.
They know it better than we do, and it'll be a tussle Saturday. But you know what? Auburn's got a lot of stuff across the board to work on too, and that's just the nature of the game in September.
Going on the road, down on the plains. What'd you learn from this week? We'll be talking about it all week, and then we're going to find out a lot more on Saturday. Chuck and Bo Show, Reaction Monday. Sure, it'll continue all day, wherever you're hearing the show right now. The Morning Rush is coming up next. Have a great day, everyone.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you